Alright, we're here with Gus of Stride, and now we can see what the Stride device is all about, and you know, it's power while you're running.
Yeah, correct. So it's the first power meter for running. And what that really means is that we've taken the same technology that cycling has used for quite a while now, for 30 years, and now really brought it into the running world. The only difference about running is that you're dealing with a human being using that body as their motion or way of moving through space, where in cycling you're using a bike, mechanical, and forcing a crank and everything else like that. And where in running, your legs are your way of moving. So what we're able to do is we're able to measure the runner in 3 dimensions. So we've taken all of what the labs have been able to do, which is like the force plate, the Viacom systems, the motion capture systems, as well as VO2, and being able to quantify and make the power number, and be able to actually have a power that correlates with your weight. And as you run, you can figure out whether you're running efficiently based on, you know, you go into a specific speed and you see your number being pretty consistent, but as you get fatigued, you're going to see your number change to being that you're working a lot harder, or if you're working better and staying nice and tight and being able to keep a really nice cadence, you'll see your number dropping at a specific speed. So that's one of the things that we can do. Another things that we can apply is for the training. And most people, when they train, either they overtrain or undertrain, and so they're not really training in the specific proper threshold zones. So we've been able to establish, you know, just a very simple protocol that you can do, a 3-minute test, a 9-minute test, acquire the anaerobic side and looking at your aerobic, come up with a functional threshold power. You know, we call it critical power right now, and then you correlate it with, you know, if you want to just measure like an LT test or VO2 test, and you do a direct correlation. We have almost a linear correlation that we know your threshold specifically, and then you could just set your zones, and so you feel confident that at certain speed or certain watts I can maintain this, and I know that I'm right at my threshold, or if I want to train a little easier, I can go there and I can train harder. So that's sort of the basics of what Stride has been able to do.
Quite awesome. Now, obviously, I know you've done a lot of testing, and
yeah,
with runners and things like that. So, I mean, are we going to be able to get the same sort of numbers? I guess I'm probably asking the question for skeptics who might say, all right, I've got my pace, I've got heart rate or whatever. What's this power sort of extra bit of information going to add, to my running?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, when they think about running they think about power as like more power means better, and actually for running it's about efficiency, because you want to be as efficient as possible. So this number is going to be more of a direct indicator to your performance. So if I'm running on a very smooth track and I can maintain my power, no problems. But let's say now I'm in an outside environment and I'm in Kona right now, and as anybody knows that's running on this course, it's very undulating, has a lot of up and downs, and the individual, if you try to maintain that pace, the pace is not going to be a good indicator, as well as heart rate, because the heat, the wind, the exhaustion, everything comes into play. Your heart rate is not going to be another good indicator, where power is a very direct correlation to performance. That means that as I go uphill, my power is going to increase. As I go downhill, my power is going to decrease. So I can actually adjust, and I can make this really hilly course almost flatten it out, because I already know what my threshold zones, I already know at what zones I need to be at, that I can run and make it more very smooth. And this is something that the pros are really good at, is they're very consistent from mile 1 to mile 15 to the last miles, and where other athletes, most of us, aren't that good. We tend to push ourselves too hard, or we don't know how to pace ourselves. So this technology really allows you to do that. It allows you to really make sense of your body and what's going on, so you can work on your form, you can work on your efficiency, but you can also work on judging whereabouts you are, and so hopefully you're not going overboard, so you can pace yourself a lot better to last you through the whole race.
So it's almost pretty much like a cycling power meter. So you would have like an FTP test, just like the run, and then you'd have that sort of your zones, and then your your Ironman sort of pacing zone.
Exactly, yeah. So if you're training for a marathon, if you're training for a half marathon, if you're training for a 10K, you can establish your zones, so you can just train to that specific number. And one of the things that happens, and I mean, I've talked to a lot of these athletes here, they're coming in, they're jet lagged, and they're retaining a lot of fluids. So they try to match their pace what they were at home. But the first thing they notice is that it requires a lot more effort. So if you were to train with your pace, you would not know if it was costing you more energy. Where Stride and using power allows you to see that. Like, I can see that specific pace, my body's it's going to require a lot more energy to produce that, to be able to go at that speed. And that's some of the things that we can see. We can quantify that information and make it a lot easier for that athlete to feel confident. Okay, I'm still fatigued. I need to back off. I need to do a little bit better recovery. So when I'm training fresh and I'm racing fresh, coming into the day of the race, or whatever race you're doing. So.
Now, I guess for the user, like how simple is it now? We see the sensor here. Now,
yeah.
If they get it, now
so I got the process. So I'll show you the process. So it's a very simple process. So I got the device here, and I have a strap on. So I'm going to go ahead and strap it on. So that's basically it. So it works with so this is like a regular Garmin and a Polar strap, so it basically works that way, and we also provide you with a strap. So I have a Suunto watch here, and what I want to do is, I've already paired it already, but I'll kind of show you maybe I won't show you the process, but I want to have it to my running, and so I can show the exercise and say, okay, running, and say later for the heart rate, but it also does heart rate. And so now it's searching for the power, and so I'll switch it here, and it just says found it, and say found, and then I could just skip the calibration, and now my power is there, and I have it set up where I can see my pace, my power, and my heart rate. So this is on a Bluetooth watch, but I also have a Garmin here that I can also pair it with, and that allows us to say to people that it works with your Bluetooth watch or to your Ant watch. So if you have a 920 or the 305, the 310 XT, so anything that can actually does power, and heart rate, they can do it, and it's easy to do, so it's not a problem. So it's easy to establish, and then you just set your zones specifically to what you want. So if I want to see my heart rate, I want to see my power on that one field, I can do that. So there's no different from setting up a regular heart rate monitor. It's that simple. We also have an app that you can set it up. So if you're somebody that uses, phone, you can just put it onto your phone, just use the app, and you'll see your watts and everything else. And plus, we also offer a lot of more metrics that the watch cannot do.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask about, because as you're testing and doing more, real world kind of stuff, for the geeks out there who want those numbers and metrics, I guess you're finding out all these wonderful
Correct,
things.
Yeah, and so we can offer that individual that extra metrics, right? So we can offer well, we already offer cadence, heart rate, power, but we're also going to be able to offer the impact, the rate of loading, breaking down the power wherever direction, and vertical oscillation and all those different things. So that's part of our system, and then so it can be downloaded to our own infrastructure, or you can use it with your Garmin and then download the data to your Garmin, or if you use Training Peaks or whatever other type of training platform. So our data, we have a Stride account, so you go to Stride Power Center, so Stride/Power Center, and then you can have your information there, but you can also transfer it over to all the other ones. So we're working together with those guys as well.
Right.
So.
Now, I know it started as a Kickstarter sort of program, so when can consumers sort of get Stride into their hands?
So as of today, we opened up a new pre-order page. So if you go to stride.com/pre-order, you can pre-order a device right now, and it's selling for $179. And as long as I think it's US and Canada, it's $10 shipping, and then $25 for international. But they can order the devices through that, and then they'll get the devices by the end of November, be shipped out before it gets into the hands of the overall market. So in the early 2016.
All right. Thanks for meeting me today, Gus.
Thanks again.